Hello and welcome to Radio Waves. I'm your host, Kris Poliquin, and this is a production of Red Apples Media. We're broadcasting out of WLBE Real Country 790 AM out of Leesburg, Florida. And if you're watching us on television, you're doing so on Lake Sumter TV, Comcast Channel 13, Bright House Channel 498, and CenturyLink Prism Channel 83. Only done this a couple of times, so excuse me for forgetting my own channels. So today we have what I think is going to be a fun show for you. We're talking with two representatives of Get Off the Bus Concerts, Mr. Joe Bamford and Mr. Brian Young. And we're going to talk about some of the events that they have coming up, what exactly the organization kind of does. And gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I always love having you come on.
Well, thank you, Kris.
Great to see you again.
Oh, I know. I love seeing me. All right. So for maybe first-time listeners, just refresh our audience with what exactly is Get Off the Bus Concerts and why did you get this started?
Well, it's an idea that was born a few years ago in Canada, where I'm from, and it was a way to sort of help out our community there. And because I'm from the music business, having managed a few fairly successful Canadian bands, I had my finger on the pulse of getting a hold of managers and agents and stuff. And I'd done a lot of favors for those bands in the sense they'd call me up and say, can you cut us a better deal on the bus? So I thought, well, maybe I would ask them if they could cut me a better deal on their price. And we could maybe do some concerts and raise money for different organizations. So that's how it started.
Right. Now, how long have you been doing this again?
I would say 6 years in total.
6 years. Yeah. All right. And Brian, you're a local, I don't want to say celebrity, because those who know you.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, right. No, how long have you been with Get Off the Bus Concert?
I think about 5 years now, right? Joe
Yeah,
and
I would say so.
Joe and I hooked up. It's kind of hard to not see the cross messaging that we were doing, so he called me up and said, hey, I kind of like some of the stuff you're doing. I'd like to do some shows in Mount Dora. And as you know, I do most of the big productions in the community building, so it was only natural that Joe and I hook up. And the result of that connection has been pretty great for Mount Dora. The best example I can give you, I mean, we've raised thousands of dollars for charities, but the dearest and dearest to our hearts is we were instrumental in raising the money to put the new state-of-the-art sound system in the Mount Dora Community Building.
That's right. Oh, so
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a part of, you guys.
We supported the patrons of the community building in several fundraising events through shows like Blue Oyster Cult, Travis Tritt, and of course our biggest one being Winona Judd and her
Right.
group. So I can't remember the dollar amount of the contribution, but I want to say it was all in was about $25,000 of the 90 that was spent putting that new DAS Aero 20 state-of-the-art digital sound system in there.
Wow.
And we've made great use of that, and that's just one example of that, what happened after we got together.
Yeah. No, if you've never been to the Mount Dora Community Building, I tell you what, I've been there before the upgrade and since the upgrade, and it's night and day.
Oh, absolutely.
It really, really, really is. Really is. So, but now you're not, I don't want to say full-time. You assist Joe in this?
Sure.
Because you, I guess, I don't know, try to paint a picture of when you come in contact, you go, oh, I know someone else you need to talk to, or do you kind of do it, on your own?
Well, any Mount Dora show I'm intimately involved in because that's where I promote everything. And then, of course, my reservation system, which is the online ticketing platform, it goes hand in hand with that. So that partnership works great. I have less involvement in the villages because that's just kind of plug and play. But if Joe needs any help up there, I do promote things through my outlet that does actually sell tickets. So it works out.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll reach out to Brian to say, hey, I'm thinking of doing a show. What do you think? Just get his opinion, right?
Yeah.
And he'll sometimes say, yeah, I think it's a winner. Or other times he'll say, oh, I don't know, Joe.
Well, again, it's, I don't want to sound too business-like, but it has to be profitable in order for the organizations that Get Off the Bus supports to benefit from in the first place.
Yeah. Nothing worse than telling them, hey, thanks for teaming up with us. We didn't make any money. I don't know that that's ever happened. But
Oh, yeah.
has it?
Well, here's the thing. I've got it down to a science now. You do 5 concerts, 4 of them make money, and the 5th one loses all the money you made on the first 4.
It does seem that
Oh,
way.
well, that's pretty easy math.
That's kind of
Yeah.
how it works. It's a gamble.
Yeah.
Right? It's a gamble. You think you know what people would like to go see,
right.
but sometimes you make a mistake.
Oh,
or
sure.
the weather, or
I was about
whatever.
to say.
You know,
Yeah,
so
there's
many
a lot of factors that go into events.
I think
Yep.
of it a little bit like, are you familiar with that movie Moneyball?
Oh,
Where they
yes,
use the stats.
yes.
So Joe and I will comb through Polestar, and you could get great data from average ticket sales and so on. But the real key, I think, is trying to find groups that don't come through Central Florida every year, which is really difficult
Yes.
because you have so many competing venues.
I was about to say with Orlando and Tampa, I mean, you would think.
It was a miracle with both Winona and Blue Oyster Cult that neither had been through Central Florida in more than 10 years.
Is that right?
We managed to...
Winona Judd hasn't been here in that long?
No, not at all. And so we found that out, and we got that deal done, and both shows resulted in sellouts.
Oh, yeah, well, Winona Judd, Blue Oyster Cult. And I wanted to go to that, but someone didn't give me tickets.
But
Sorry.
Here's something that's interesting, though. Winona Judd sold out in Mount Dora.
Certainly.
We had her in Ocala, and she didn't.
Did not sell out. That's a good point.
Figure that out.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange.
Very strange. With
Well,
all the
again, timing, day of the week, it was a work week. Or,
one was
who
a Friday,
knows?
one was a Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, and with a country radio station up there supporting us, just like it just is odd how if you can drive 50 miles if it's that many miles, right? And it just night and day.
Yeah, it's hard to time. It's hard to predict.
Exactly.
I guess.
And that's
It's
what
hard to predict.
and that's what the concert business is. So even Live Nation and the bigger concert companies that do concerts all over the world, I mean, they have loser tours.
boy.
They'll do a whole tour of 50 shows of somebody that loses money. But it's a huge, huge business. And one thing that I did not want to do, or my wife, was turn this into a huge business. We wanted to do stuff that we enjoy, that we could go to the concert and enjoy seeing it ourselves. I mean, because we are putting the show on, obviously we can't sit in
Well,
a
of
seat.
course,
But we
of
go out
course.
and check out the hits, right? Or
Yeah.
a portion of the hits. And then when we look out in the audience and see people enjoying themselves, we go, we did it.
That's
It was
what it's
fun.
all
This
about.
this is what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's been a couple of concerts where the tour managers
Oh, yeah, we
backstage
could tell you some
weren't
great
so
stories.
enjoyable to be with, right? And took the
Well,
pleasure.
that's their day in and day out job,
yeah,
too.
and they took the total pleasure out of doing it.
Won't name names.
Out of it. We won't name any names. But, you're standing there at a show going, I don't even want to watch this band because the tour manager has really got under my skin
never
all day
again.
long. Never again.
Well, but the bigger goal
Yes.
are the organizations
Yes.
that it supports.
Yeah.
Right? Can you talk to us a little bit about some of those type of, because I know, but believe me, my audience doesn't want to hear me talk. Tell us, give our audience an idea of who is supported from all these concerts, because I know you've had a lot of concerts over the last 6
yeah.
years.
Oh,
I've been talking with you guys for over 2.
Funny you should say that. My wife, who is a detail person, and which is great because I'm more of like, let's just go do it,
Right.
kind of guy. She's putting together a list of everything that we've done to assist any organization since we started doing this. And one of the things that I never really tallied up that much was almost every show we do an auction, a raffle of a guitar or a fiddle, depending on the artist, right? So I go down to Leesburg Music, plug for Leesburg Music here. Great guy, by Joe Wright, great man.
Okay.
He gives me wholesale prices on guitars. Every once in a while, I say, there's a free one for you, right? Every once in a while. And great guy. So we get the guitar, and we donate it to the cause, and they raffle off the tickets. Well, it's $500, $700, $1,500 on those guitars.
Yep.
We've never totaled that up, ever.
Really?
It's a big number.
Yeah, right. So, and the other thing is, I always I know how much we've given to a hospital in Canada, which is about $150,000, right? Just one hospital in our little hometown. Yeah. And so she's doing this whole thing, and I'm looking at it. And now Brian just said something a moment ago about the patrons at the building. I totally forgot about that for the list. So I'm telling you right now, I don't know for sure, but I'd say it's over 300,000 that we've raised here and in Canada for different causes. And
That's amazing. That is such a large number.
yeah, so what we try to do, obviously it costs money to have a business and keep the doors open and pay the
Sure.
phone bill and the gas to get to the shows and all the other things that are necessary. And I have one person on staff, paid person, who does all the social media stuff for us, right? Because I can't do it. Bottom
It's a skill set that's lost on them.
Yeah, I mean I can do it, but
Yeah.
it'll take
No,
me
I
all day
understand.
Sunday and half of Monday to do something that somebody else that knows what they're doing can do in 1 hour, right? So, but bottom line is we have to have some money. So we take out a sliver and we give as much as humanly possible to the cause. And it tallies up at 9,000 here, 6,000 there, 5,000 here, with the guitar raffles, and then
Sure.
sometimes the meet and greets, depending whether an artist will do a meet and greet or not. That tallies up, right? So, but bottom line is that what happens is sometimes a charity will approach me and say, could you do something to support us? And I say, okay. So I do a little bit of research on the charity itself to say, hey, yeah. And then we put the show together and we put their logo on the poster, and then we try to share their Facebook pages and their website on our media things so
Sure.
that they're aware.
Uh-huh.
So I think the last time I was here, I spoke about this.
Yep.
But my wife and I were invited to a Christmas pageant at the Lake Hill School a couple of years ago.
Right.
I never heard of the place, and I can walk to it. That's how close I am to. I never heard of it, but then again, I'm not, from this area originally.
Yeah, sure.
And we went to this, and basically what the Lake Hill School is a school for special kids, okay? And I think, if I have it correct, they range in age from 2 to 22. And that's where those special kids go.
From 2 to 22.
Yeah, there. So there are all kinds of different
Sure.
kids with all kinds of challenges, and they're there. They had this Christmas pageant. Now, to see somebody in a wheelchair or different things performing Christmas carols or Christmas songs or different things, it's very moving, right?
Sure.
I couldn't help but think that we should do something, to raise money. Now, my wife would say to me, "Why don't you just write a check?"
Right.
But no,
Not
that's
as much
no
fun.
It's more fun to risk $100,000 to raise $5,000 for a school, right? It's more fun, right? It keeps me awake at night. Right? So that's what it's like. But this Lake Hill School is a perfect example of what we try to do, right? Is not only do we try to raise some money for them, we try to raise the awareness of them.
Right.
So now,
Right, because prior to this, I've never heard of this school.
Exactly. So that's what it's all about. So we try to, spread the word. And I will tell you, one of the things that would be so much great for us, meaning get off the bus, in all our shows, if we had more people like Romac Lumber. Because Don at Romac Lumber, I put on a show, he says, I want 14 tickets. And what he does with them, he gives them to his staff, he gives them to his customers,
There you go.
gives them to families, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he pretty much will come in and buy some tickets, right? So therefore, we know, and now if I had 20 Romac Lumbers to buy some tickets for shows.
Right. They don't need to buy 15, 20.
Oh, great head
And the
start.
Blue Oyster Cult, I couldn't make it. I wasn't expecting free tickets, although I will harass you forever on that. But every amount counts. And
Exactly.
It's entertainment. It's fun.
Well, when you see, for example, you have a poster right there on your desk, right?
Yep.
And you look on it and you see logos on the bottom.
I
The
do.
logos are there, which is when you look at all concert promotions, every one of those people, but every one of those companies have put some type of support into the concert. Be it they've written a check, they're giving you, different things, giving you hotel rooms for nothing, whatever. Food. That's their way of supporting the cause, right? It takes a tremendous amount of time to organize and get that, right?
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And if I could, while we're talking about this poster in particular, I think it's kind of important for people to know what type of organizations support this. So for the Parmalee, we're looking at Collier Financial Solutions, Expert Advisor Group, KW Classic Realty, and Tavares. Mm-hmm. It's a broad range.
Yeah.
It's not one type of organization that wants to participate in this. It's just like anything else.
Yeah.
There's
a bunch more too that aren't on there because
Oh,
we haven't
sure.
finished
No,
with
this
it.
is just
Yeah.
off the fly to give our audience an idea of who we're talking.
One is the hotel.
Key West Resorts.
They're supplying the
Tiki
rooms.
West.
One of the restaurants is
restaurant.
supplying food. It's just
Yeah.
a lot of organizational things, right? And that's what it's all about, right? So
This concert is very community based. You're familiar with the Dragon Boat Festival?
I am,
It's been around
yes.
for
Oh, yeah,
more than a
couple years.
decade.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of started to wane in popularity over the last 2 years. It's a Golden Triangle Rotary event. Mm-hmm. So they thought they would try doing something different, which is to bring entertainment in. And they wanted to do something on a grander scale. So,
And it looks like they have.
yeah, Joe and I thought Parmalee would do the trick. So the response through social media has been pretty overwhelming. So we expect the park to be full, and we have a very limited number of VIP tickets available for purchase to help offset the costs and so on.
Sure.
So we're hoping to go through all of those. And
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is, while we're talking about, we're about to break to end this segment, and then we'll come back after the break and talk about some of your
Sure.
upcoming events. But while we're talking about this one, we're talking about Parmalee March 9th at 7 p.m., Wooten Park in Tavares.
that's right.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we need to take a quick break. And when we return, we'll continue our conversation with Get Off the Bus Concerts. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Radio Waves. Again, I'm your host, Kris Poliquin, and this is a production of Red Apples Media. So before the break, we were talking with Joe and Brian from Get Off the Bus Concerts, giving us a little bit more background and a little more history on who they are and what they do. So we ended, before the break, we were talking about one of your upcoming events. Can we get into a couple more? Because I'm looking at, half a dozen or so coming down the pipe just between now and mid-April.
talked about Parmalee, which is March
We
the
did.
9th, right?
Yep. And that's for the Dragon Boat Festival, March 9th, correct?
I was just minding my own business, and Brian calls me up and says, "Hey, these guys are looking for some help. Why don't you use your magical touch and get a hold of Parmalee's people and see what kind of price you could get on them." Right?
Okay.
So I did. So that's how that started, right? And then after that, the next one is Eddie Money. And Eddie had tons of hits.
Yeah, Eddie Money, that's a big name. Now, he's
Yeah.
been here before in the past, hasn't he?
Quite a while ago, I think, yeah. Yeah. I know he plays Orlando every once in a while. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
yep.
So that show just went on sale today.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay, and when is that show?
That is April the 5th at the Sharon.
At the Sharon. So that's in the Villages.
In the Villages.
You guys do a lot there.
Yes.
And I assume venue is kind of important.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we're talking concerts, events, big name people and artists.
Yeah.
But you've also done some small venues as well.
Yep. The Mount Dora with the community center there, that's 600 seats. Also done shows up in Ocala in a venue up there, the Riley, which is 700 seats.
Okay.
And the Savannah Center in the Villages, which is 800 seats. That's where we first started.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
800.
Yeah. That's where our first show as Get Off the Bus in the States was, and that was Willie Nelson. And that took me 2 years to get that done because nobody in the Villages, in the operation of the Villages, said people would pay over $50 for a ticket. I said, well, then they're not going to see Willie Nelson.
Right, it's Willie Nelson. I mean,
Right. So we did it. took 2 years to convince them, and we did it, sold out instantly.
Again, it's Willie Nelson.
Yes.
He delivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have another show coming up. And by the way, the show with Eddie Money, that's to support the United Way.
Oh, another fantastic
Yeah.
organization.
And then they contacted us, actually through another organization that we had done a show for, and said, you should get a hold of Joe. And here we are.
Yeah.
And the next one, this is an interesting story. It's called Sisters Easter Catechism.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, and what the Sisters thing is it's a show called Late Night Catechism,
Okay.
and they do different versions of it. And basically, the theater is turned into a classroom, and the sister walks on the stage like she's walking in the door at her classroom. And she starts out, I think she goes to the blackboard and writes down her name. I think.
Okay.
I can't remember. But anyway, and then
Well, just for the record, it's not fun for me to be kneeling on pencils.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's anything like that, you need to have some disclosures out there.
So then she turns to the audience and says, good morning, class. And people say, good morning. And she goes, good morning, who? And that's how the evening starts.
Yeah.
And the whole audience goes, oh, good morning, Sister Mary, or whatever her name is.
Really?
Yeah. And then, it's like, wait a minute. Are you chewing gum?
Yes.
Bring that up here right now.
Oh, I got to be a fly on the wall. I may have to go see that, just because how many cell phones are going to come out in that crowd?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she gets all of that.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
going to be an
And,
issue.
and that's what it is. It's a comedy based on the Catholic religion.
Sure.
Right? And, it's kind of like how, Jews are nice people, but they're wrong, that kind of thing. But it's a comedy, and it's funny.
Sure.
And because it is, this one is based on Easter, it's called Will My Bunny Go to Heaven? So anyway, I was in at Old Hags 2 or 3 weeks ago, up in Leesburg. And Joyce, who runs it, said, Joe, there's this organization that you should do a show for them. I said, who is it? And she told me, and they're called the Lazarus Free Medical Clinic. So basically, it's a clinic. It's in Wildwood, and they have people come there, and they get treatment for free.
Really?
A lot of them are, people that are immigrants to the country and stuff.
Sure,
right? But
sure.
that's what it is. And it's not only just them. It's anybody who doesn't have some type of health care or medical coverage. They treat them. And so I said, okay. So I said, well, get the lady to call me. She did. And then this show was out there looking for a place to play. And I thought, what a perfect show to do, because the church, this medical clinic is under the supervision of the Catholic churches in this area.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Well, because they don't want, and that makes sense, because it's
Yeah.
not about disrespecting. It's about
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah.
Poking a little fun.
Yeah.
Well, the Late Night Catechism has played in different Catholic churches throughout Florida, lots of times. So I figured, I looked at it like this was a good tie-in, like this just before Easter. Hopefully, there's still snowbirds left in the villages.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and let's give it a shot. Let's
Some
do
of
it.
them don't leave.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them don't leave. So I looked at it like, okay, let's do this. And that's, again, you said to me, how does this all work? This is how it works. Lots of times people just come to me with an idea of a charity, and then as I'm looking around for a show, I go to the charity and say, would you want to be connected to Alice Cooper?
Exactly.
Says the Catholic Church. No, thank you. You have something else.
Yeah, no. But, so that's how it kind of starts.
Well, we got a few minutes, but if someone wanted to get more information on Get Off the Bus and to look at how they could be involved themselves, whether it be a business or a corporation or even a city, again, looking at some of the, I don't know, lack of a better term, sponsors of some of these events, where can they get that information?
Well, the easiest thing, without giving out phone numbers, would be to go to getoffthebusconcerts.com.
Okay.
And there's a email address in there. I think it's info@getoffthebusconcerts.com. So info@getoffthebusconcerts.com. I'll get that email eventually, and then I'll answer back personally and say, okay, let's talk. But just as an example, yesterday I visited a car dealership in Leesburg. I said, have you ever thought about something like this? And he said, no, but that's not a bad idea. I said, yeah, think about it. You buy maybe 10 tickets to a concert, great seats, whatever, and give them to your sales guys on a particular sale. Or if somebody buys a car, give them a pair of tickets, you know.
Why not?
In the car. Put them right in the car on the sun visor and say, there you go, right?
Yeah.
And he said, it's not a bad idea. I hope it comes through. We just need about 20 more of those.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And again, what I'd like the audience to understand is it can be anybody.
Sure.
You can just buy block tickets to help support the causes.
Yes.
Or, reach out to you guys and become a partner. Become a partner in this endeavor.
Yeah.
And it's, again, not trying to sound too businessy, but if you're doing something good and you can get some recognition for it, then that's the type of advertisement I think I would like, right? And it kind of, it seems to me like it's an easy marriage.
Yeah. Get on the bus with us.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Get on the bus and help us do stuff with get off the bus, right?
Poet
Yeah.
didn't know it.
Yeah, see, there you go. Oh, Lord. And here we go.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I think I need to call an end to the shenanigans.
Sure.
I do appreciate you guys coming back on the show, and I hope to see you again. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
And real quick, where can they get that information? What's your website?
Getoffthebusconcerts.com.
Awesome. Joe, Brian, thank you.
Thank you.
And that does it for Radio Waves. I've been your host, Kris Poliquin, and we'll see you next time.